Hey guys, today we're taking a look at the 5 and Below 36-piece Artist Pencil Kit. It has 12 color pencils, 12 watercolor pencils, 4 graphite pencils, and 8 sketch pencils. The carrying case is really cheap plastic, which kind of gives me hope that the contents inside might not be half bad. And I got this at 5 and Below for about $5. And this was picked up because people have been talking about art kits a lot this December, and I don't have a lot of experience with store brand art kits, so I wanted to try out a few and develop some of my own opinions. Now, the plastic case is a little bit difficult to open without sending your pencils all over the place, and I would say it is not a good option for travel. If you get this kit, I would recommend replacing it with your own pencil case. The color selection is also a little bit weird. We're going to go into that a little bit more. But what really intrigued me by this kit is you really get a lot of options. You get sketching pencils, you get graphite pencils, you get color pencils, and you get watercolor pencils. So this could be a really good option for a younger artist who's interested in illustration. The pencils themselves are pretty plain. The color pencils don't have any body screening, not names, nothing to indicate that they're color pencils. The graphite pencils only have the hardness, and the hardness for these range from 8B to I want to say 6H. All graphite pencils are indeed just that, all graphite pencils with a plastic case on the outside and the hardness indicated on the back. And then the watercolor pencils, the only way you can tell they're watercolor pencils because they have no body screening is the gold cap at the back. And that was just me using my judgment from other watercolor pencil reviews to kind of guess that those might be watercolor pencils. It's a little bit difficult to snap it shut, so I don't know if this is such a great option for a younger kid. So for today's review, we're going to be swatching on Canson XL watercolor paper. I went with this paper because it's just kind of a good all-rounder paper that's very affordable, and you can find it at a wide variety of places. So in order to test the opacity, I'm putting down a little bit of black alcohol marker, and that's going to give us a surface that we can cover with the white color pencil. So the color pencils themselves are a bit hard, and they're not very blendable, as you guys will see in the blend test. And right now I'm just swatching all 12 of the colors. I also found the color selection to be a little bit unusual. So now we're doing the blend test, and I'm just blending the pencils color into color. They have all right pigmentation, but they're a little bit too hard to be really blendable. And honestly, I would say Crayola color pencils are a better option than these, and they're probably cheaper too, because the 12 packs are really not that expensive. Next, we're going to take a look at the sketching pencils, and these range from 8B to 6H. And there is definitely a difference in the hardness, but not necessarily in the darkness level. So there are softer leads. The B's are definitely softer than the H's, but they don't really get much darker. 4B, 2B, HB, etc. are all kind of scratchy and unpleasant to use. They would definitely be unpleasant to use in a longer term situation, like if you were working on a shaded piece. I'm going to use the Artist Loft eraser that came in the Artist Loft 120-piece sketching kit for this. And they do erase somewhat cleanly, but there is some ghosting. Next, we're going to take a look at the graphite pencils. These are solid core graphite pencils with a plastic casing, and they're all HB, and I can't figure out why you would send 4 HB pencils in a kit. This doesn't make any sense to me. See? All HB. So I didn't bother swatching the rest because there will be no difference between them. Seriously, was that a mistake or was that on purpose? Five Below, what's that about? Finally, we have our watercolor pencils, and these are really where the odd color choices start to come in. You would think they would match the color pencils so that they could be used together, but they don't. These are softer than the color pencils at least, but they're very dusty. And I feel like half the color gamut was split. So, we get our cool yellows with the watercolor pencils rather than getting any cool yellows with the color pencils. We get different pinks with the watercolor pencils. We get our cool blue with the watercolor pencil, but there is no cool blue with the color pencils. So I would have liked, I kind of get where they're coming from, where they probably did this so that they could offer more colors, but I don't like it because I feel, I don't know, it just bothers me on a perfectionist level. Now, when you activate them with water, they do activate, but there's basically no pigment to them. There's no color to these. They basically disappear once you activate them. And as much as I dislike these, I'm going to go ahead and do a color wheel with them so we can really fairly review them. I have a bunch of watercolor pencil reviews coming up, so if you're looking for good watercolor pencils, make sure you subscribe and stick around because those are definitely coming up. I've reviewed everything from Crayola watercolor pencils to Prismacolor to nice things like Supercolor 2 and Derwent Inktense watercolor pencils. So I've already reviewed those. They're just not live. So I'm coming from this with I've already reviewed really nice watercolor pencils and these are really terrible. And these don't mix at all. They're not saturated enough. They're really disappointing. Alright, so I reviewed the $5 36-piece 5 and below pencil set for you guys so you don't have to. I could see a much younger artist liking this set because it offers analogs to professional stuff. Like the sketching pencils and the graphite pencils, those are going to feel like more adult art supplies. The color pencils, the watercolor pencils, while I, as somebody who has a lot of experience with art supplies, know that these are awful, a much younger artist might feel very differently. I could see this being an alright stocking stuffer for a 5-year-old or a 9-year-old, somebody who wants to start playing around with something a little bit different from Crayola, but may not have a lot of money to spend. So surprisingly, this isn't the worst. I don't like it. I'm not going to do a field test with these because I feel like that would just be punishing myself. But I could definitely see picking up this kit to give to my kiddo so they can start practicing, start playing with some of these more adult art supplies. So for $5, it really wasn't a bad deal. And I would actually say these are pretty comparable to the Artist Loft kit that I have also reviewed. I also want to apologize for all that buzzing. My Discord is blowing up right now. I don't really know why. Speaking of Discord though, if you want to talk about art supplies, come join me on the Paint Box. That's my Discord channel that focuses on art supplies and art. You guys can find a link down in the description below. So here are all of our swatches so you guys can see that these are pretty mediocre, but you know, they're a fun $5. And I don't know that you could get all of this for $5 at Dollar Tree. So this might actually be a set where I'm like, okay, yeah, it was worth the $5. Anyway, I hope you guys find this helpful and useful. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys again really soon. Bye, guys.